Hey gang, I just woke up. Pardon the hair. Pardon my eyes. I have no eyes today. My contacts are not in, and so I cannot see anything. Um, so if I shift between the little green light next to the eyesight and the little eyesight, boom, 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 boom. Um, I apologize. I'm not trying to be shifty-eyed, although yeah, whatever. I had this idea concerning the nature of choice, essentially boiling down to the idea that when we make a choice, we deliberately we do it on a system of inference. Now, I've talked about this before a little bit. That is to say that a deliberate action is defined as an action that is based on a system of inference, ultimately leading back to a premise of some kind. And that just like in a syllogism where you can have a conclusion that is incorrect if any one of your inferences are incorrect or if any of your premises are incorrect, so too can a deliberate action be wrong if it's the result of a conclusion that is wrong because the conclusion results from a poorly cast system of inference. Well, to that, it seems to me that oftentimes when we make poor decisions, it is based on a system of inference that we want to exist rather than what we actually have genuine experience in. It's a guess. It's a kind of hopeful, self-satisfying guess that we create a faulty system of inference. Not always. Sometimes we just make a very honest and silly mistake. But I think these are far less common than what people would like to believe. I mean, we make wrong decisions all the time. And it would seem to me that most of the time, when we make wrong decisions, and even decisions that we don't even know that we're making, are all based upon an underlying system of inference that is rooted in our desire rather than our genuine experience with the world. Since after all, a good system of inference would be firmly grounded in reality, right? That's the only way it can work. And so if your first experience of reality, that is to say, before all system of thought and language, if you do not have a genuine communion with reality, to use a kind of quasi-religious term, on a regular basis, and you don't have a good working relationship with reality itself before you start thinking about it, you can get screwed up in lots of different ways. I think thinking of it this way, that there are essentially two paths to take, is striking on a very subconscious level, or as deep as the subconscious level. And that is to say, we've always heard about the light and the dark, the right and the wrong, the light side, the good guys and the bad guys, light side, the two sides. The duality of choice, to do the right thing and to do the wrong thing. And it's one thing to make a genuine mistake, but it's another thing to superimpose your own desire onto some kind of deliberation that requires deliberation, some kind of situation that requires you to sit and think and create a system of inference and then arrive at some kind of conclusion that ultimately informs an action. And actions, I mean, actions can be the basis of what? Of good and the basis of evil. Difference between, who is that scientist that has genetically modified wheat to grow it, in factories and is feeding a whole bunch of people? That's deliberation in the name of good. And then I'll take the easy one and say Hitler is the deliberation of evil. And if you look at these two different worlds here, the one is a system of inference based on genuine communion. Again, I like that word, so I'm going to use it. A genuine communion with reality. And the other one is a communion with one's own fantasy. Now, where these fantasies come from is the subject of another video, and that's when I will get tomatoes thrown at me from at least the atheist camp. But that's okay. You're welcome to. But I do think it's interesting to think of it in the light of that deliberation can either be in the name of reality, or it can be in the name of the reality you hope so desperately to exist. Check it out. See what it does for you.